Hi, everyone. This is Lynn Bouthillier from lynnbouthillier.com. I'm a certified trauma recovery coach, and I would like to welcome you to episode number 3 of my new series entitled Catching Myself Feeling Good. This is a brand new series where I'm sharing with my viewers ways that we can catch ourselves feeling good, because as trauma and abuse survivors, we might have over a significant period of time developed a feeling of disconnection, not just from feeling good, but from our ability to feel good. We might come to believe, I just don't have the ability to feel good anymore. I've been so beaten down, or as Dr. Roberta Shaler used to refer to it as worn down and torn down. She said that many times on her podcast over many years. I just feel so worn down and torn down. And it's a really, really good expression that teaches us with an image, it teaches us what our trauma and abuse does to us. And I will point out for just a brief moment that not all trauma comes from abuse, but all abuse experiences are traumatic, and for the abused. And so today I wanted to share something with you that I happened to be walking past, and it caught my attention, and I instantly went into a feeling of feeling good. So I want to share it with you because I caught myself feeling good. And I'll give you a little bit of backstory on it first. Before, how do I say this? My husband's parents, when they were alive, they belonged to the senior citizens group in our town, and or in their town. We didn't live in the same town. We lived one town over, but they belonged to the senior citizens group. And every year in October, they have a rummage sale. And this month, they're going to have a rummage sale at the same place. I live about 1 mile away from it. And I went to that rummage sale with my husband's mother, and she purchased a plant. This was the first year that we were married. We were married in August, and in October, she asked me to go with her to the rummage sale, and I did. And she purchased a plant. And that plant was a green jade Hoya plant. Green, all of the Hoya plants, it's Hoya. The Hoya plants, there's a whole bunch of different varieties, but they're known for being a slow growing plant. You can have a little leaf of it that's rooted, just one singular stem and leaf. And it can sit like that for well over a year before it sprouts any new shoots, puts out any new buds or any more leaf growth. And so I started about 2 years ago, I started propagating green jade Hoyas because I love them. I think they're so beautiful. My husband's mother passed away in 2001, and the original plant that she had purchased at that rummage sale was still alive after all those years, from 1985 when she purchased it. And when she purchased it, it wasn't a little tiny, propagated leaf. It was a plant in a pot. It had been propagated long ago. And so 1985, that's a long time ago. And in 2001, when she passed away, her plant was, like I said, it was still alive. And I didn't know anything about propagating Hoyas at that time. I knew absolutely nothing about it. I had never even heard of a green jade Hoya. But then she told me one day when I came over to the house, "You're not going to believe this." And I said, "What?" She said, "Come here, come and see it." And it was hanging in a hanging basket right above her kitchen sink. And with, the long tendrils hanging down. And on one of them, there were the most beautiful, was just like soft mauve pink, little star flowers, big, huge cluster of them. And she had explained to me the day she bought the plant. Well, the lady who sold it to me said it's commonly known as wax plant because the leaves feel like wax. They feel like they're made of wax. And the flowers, if you're lucky enough to get flowers on it, they look like they're made of wax. So it's commonly known as a wax plant. Well, here's the thing. After she passed away, her husband took care of her plants for years and years. He took care of her plants. He passed in 2018. So 17 years after she died, he was still maintaining her plants. And her green jade Hoya was one of them. But he had a tendency to waterlog the plants. And about half of the plant died off. And I took it and I repotted it. And this is just shortly after he passed. I felt sorry for the plant because it was not doing well. And I wanted it to survive because it was so old. And I know the plant is, I mean, my husband and I have been married for close to 40 years. And we're legally married, but we are not together, not at all. And I won't get into the details of why that is, but there's legitimate reasons why that is. And no one has to explain to anybody what their marital status is or why. But when my spouse's father passed away, I repotted that plant because I didn't dare do it while I was in the house taking care of him, because he would make such a ruckus about that. My plants are fine, leave them alone, there's nothing wrong with them. And I said, well, maybe you could just back off on the watering a little bit. Like we could just water it every 2 weeks instead of every 3 days. Would that be possible? You couldn't do that. You would just be asking for a whole big, huge argument to ensue. So after he passed, I just took the plant out in the garage and I took it out of its soil and I cleaned off the roots and I put it into a type of container that Hoya, like they like to have their shoes tight. They like to be in a pot where they're not, they just like a tight pot is all I can say about it. And so that's what I did. I gave it a very nice little compact tight pot and put the soil in it that is recommended for that type of plant or soil mixture. And then put it on a shelf to see what happens. And it kept going. It kept going. Now, I did that in 2018. The soil has been changed out when necessary, when it's, you know, the nutrients are depleted out of the soil and you need to put in, you know, fresh soil. But anyways, that plant from 1985 is still alive. And this morning I walked past it on my way to my room. It's on a shelf in an east facing window in my house with a whole bunch of its babies on that shelf. And all of a sudden something grabbed my attention and I'll show it to you. First, I'll show you the plant. Okay, here's the plant. This is a green jade Hoya plant. You can tell that it likes to hang over the side in the window facing the sun. Like they love bright indirect sunlight. And then they have these long viney tendril things that come off of them. Okay. And then what's at the end of it? This is the part where I just launched into feeling good. This is what was there. Can you see that? Look at those beautiful, waxy looking, mauve colored flowers. It's a whole big bunch of them. And it has the scent. To me, the scent is so similar to the scent of a hyacinth plant, the blooms of a hyacinth plant. Hyacinths are bulb flowers. But then something happened after I looked at this one and I recognized that it's in bloom. Then I started to notice, look at right there. You can see it right where my chin is. That's another stalk that has the cluster at the end of it, where it is in a few days. That's gonna, that will open up and then the flower buds will be visible and it'll look like this. See how that's on just a little stalk connecting it to this vine? Well, this next one that's down here right there by my chin is going to do that too. And then came the next part that felt really, really, really good when I realized it. A whole bunch of them are doing that. I have never, in all these years, I've had Hoya plants in my home. I've been propagating Hoya plants for a while, and I have never experienced having them bloom. And now all of a sudden, almost all of them are blooming. I don't know why. Maybe the conditions were finally right for them to do that. Maybe the plants have to be at a certain maturity. Maybe they have to have a certain level of nutrient in them. I don't know. I do give them a 3-part plant food, and one of the parts is bloom. But that is what happened today. Now I'll talk about the feeling that it gave me. I had long ago stopped even hoping for blooms on my Hoyas because I just decided, since they refuse to do it, I'm not going to pressure them. That's okay. They're beautiful plants. I love them. And I'm letting go of wanting them to bloom because I've been waiting such a long time. And I just accept now that it's not going to happen. And after I made that acceptance and picked up the pieces of my life and got on with it, forgot all about that decision to stop waiting for the blooming phase of whatever Hoya plants do. But all of a sudden, I just went and checked plant after plant after plant in the next room. They have the little stalk on them, and some of them are the blooms are starting to open. And this is another weird thing about them. They put on such a magnificent show with the blooms, and just 2 or 3 days after it blooms, it's all on the floor. The plant just lets go of it, and it looks like matchsticks all over the floor. And that's okay too. I've accepted that this is a beautiful plant with some weird things about it. And what does that give me? When I saw that this morning and I first started to see that it was blooming, I immediately went, oh, that's so awesome. And I didn't say anything to myself like, but I don't deserve it. My plants are so beautiful right now, but I've done bad things in my life and I don't deserve to have such a nice thing happening right now. Don't do that. Don't do that to myself. I don't say, well, I must have done something right because I normally kill plants. Didn't do that either. I just went into the state of allowing that feeling. This is exciting. This is a cool thing to see. And then to find out that a whole bunch of them are doing it at the same time. Oh my goodness. What an absolute joyful thing. It feels just really, really, really good to know that for a few days, I'm going to be walking past my plants and noticing how far along they're coming on the opening of their blooms, and what the smell is like. Because like I said, they have such a distinct smell in their the scent of the flowers. I love the smell of hyacinths, and it perfumes the air for sure. They're just very, very fragrant flowers. I've heard some people say that the flowers on them have a very subtle fragrance. To me, it's pretty strong, and I have allergies right now and I can smell it. But I'm just delighted that I can share with you a way that I caught myself feeling good. And it's no small thing. So what have I done for my brain today? I've given my brain a lesson in I can look around my environment and find a reason, right? Without even leaving my house, I can find a reason to feel good. And then when I do feel good, I'm recognizing that that's helping my nervous system. When I feel good, I am recognizing that I'm recovering from my trauma. I'm becoming unfrozen. I'm starting to notice more. I'm starting to actually engage with my environment more, engaging my sense of vision, engaging my sense of smell. And I'm appreciating what's around me that's good. And then what does that help my nervous system to do with my trauma? Well, it put my attention somewhere else for a short time. And it gave me a message loud and clear. absolutely loud message of, you do deserve good things. And a really good thing happened and you didn't even know it was coming, and here it is, and it's lovely. It's not monetary. It doesn't change your life in a huge way. It doesn't cost you anything, and it doesn't give you anything financial. It doesn't do anything at all. It doesn't disrupt your life. And it doesn't change your life in a huge way. It's a subtle way. And it doesn't necessarily change my life. It changes me and how I experience my life. How I notice I am connecting more to my environment. And it was the beautiful flower on a plant inside my home that got me to pause and notice it. I notice that that plant's doing a cool thing now that it has not done in, I mean, the last time I ever saw this plant bloom was probably around 1986 or 1987 when it was hanging in that window. And it was about maybe half the size that it is now. And then it got really huge. And then my father-in-law killed off about half of the cluster of what would you say, that somebody propagated the plant and put 2 or 3 of them in the pot. And so there's one remaining that's alive and wasn't waterlogged, and it survived. Well, I guess like me, the plant's a survivor. That's a really cool thing to notice from this too. And I just caught myself feeling good again. I identify with my plant as a survivor, and that I'm a survivor, and I have something in common with a beautiful plant. I hope that you find value in this lighthearted series of catching myself feeling good. So I will make another one tomorrow. And I hope that throughout this day today, that you might be able to just notice what comes up for you when you're going about your day. And maybe from watching these videos, your system might begin to tune to the concept of catching yourself feeling good. And when you do, I would love to hear about it in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear your stories of how you felt good today, or at any other point in your life. If you find one that felt really great to you, if you want to share it, feel free to share it in the comments. It would help me. It would help the trauma and abuse community. And it's just a great thing to do. So if you haven't already liked the video, please hit the like button. Just please hit the like button. That would be so great. And so for my channel, if you would like, subscribe, share it on whatever platform you want. And hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I put up new material for you. And please remember that self-care is never selfish. It's essential, and that we can catch ourselves feeling good. Have the best day, everyone. See you next time.